The universe was quiet on the night everything changed. Stars burned softly in the dark sky, planets moved in silence, and hundreds of alien worlds continued their normal lives. But far from all of them, in a cold silver chamber inside the Galactic Council, a group of powerful alien leaders sat together, staring at a glowing hologram of Earth. They watched it with the same look someone gives to a hopeless child. They believed humanity was weak. They believed humanity was broken. And most of all, they believed humanity could never rise again. High Lord Vesk, an ancient alien with skin like stone, leaned forward and spoke with a slow, heavy voice. Humans always talk big, but they never finish what they start. His words echoed through the hall. Every time they reach near greatness, they destroy themselves. They will fail again. Many around the table nodded, their faces cold and sure. In their minds, the story of humans was simple. A species full of emotion, chaos, and stubborn dreams. A species that could never do something truly impossible. But not everyone agreed. Among them sat Keeler, a young alien historian with bright silver eyes. He had studied humans for most of his life. He knew their mistakes, but he also knew their strange strength. And tonight, something was wrong. Something felt different. With a calm voice, Keeler said, "You judge too quickly. Humans do not give up as easily as you think." The council laughed at him. To them, humans were unpredictable children, dangerous only to themselves. But Keeler continued. There is a new signal. It came from a human base far outside the old borders of Earth. A faint blue light flashed above the table. The hologram changed, showing waves of energy rising from a remote part of space. The aliens stopped laughing, their eyes narrowing. The signal was strong, much stronger than any human technology should be able to produce. "What are they doing?" someone whispered. No one had an answer. For several minutes, the council watched the strange waves moving like an invisible storm. The energy twisted space, bending the hologram in unnatural shapes. It was frightening. It was wrong. And it was human. High Lord Vesk shook his head. They are trying something impossible again. They will fail. They always fail. But Keeler did not look convinced. "The humans are silent," he said quietly. "They have not sent messages, not asked for help, not shown fear." His voice dropped lower. "When humans go silent, something big is coming." Across the galaxy, the rumor spread like fire. Humanity was building something. Something no one else had ever built. Aliens began watching, scanning, and preparing for the worst. But every scan was blocked. Every attempt to spy failed. It was like the humans were hiding inside a fog made of pure energy. Inside the council chamber, the tension grew. No one trusted humans. Not because they were weak, but because they were unpredictable. One alien general stood up. "If humans succeed, the balance of power will break." Another whispered, "If they fail, the explosion could destroy a part of the galaxy." Fear rose in the room like cold smoke. Meanwhile, far away, deep in the blackness of space, humanity was still working. The signal from their base grew stronger, brighter, more unstable. It beat like a giant heart, echoing through light years. But still, silence. No explanations. No warnings. Only the growing energy that made the stars shake. Days passed. The signal reached its highest point, glowing like a second sun across cosmic instruments. Then suddenly, it stopped. The hologram flickered and went dark. The entire universe seemed to hold its breath. The council room filled with shocked whispers. Did it fail? Did the humans destroy themselves? Was it a mistake? High Lord Vesk smiled with satisfaction. "As expected," he said. "Humanity aimed too high, and now they have ended their own project." But Keeler felt something different. The silence did not feel like failure. It felt like waiting. Like the moment before a storm breaks. He turned his eyes toward the stars shown on the hologram. "If they failed," he whispered, "why does the silence feel dangerous?" No one answered. No one could. Because somewhere out there, hidden behind the darkness, Humanity was not broken. They were not defeated. They were preparing, planning, building something the universe believed they could never achieve. And soon, the universe would learn how dangerous it was to underestimate humans. The night stayed quiet, but every alien who looked at the stars felt the same cold truth. Humanity was not done. They were just getting started. Far from the alien council, hidden inside a lonely corner of space where no normal ship traveled, a large human facility floated in silence. It was dark from the outside, covered with metal plates that reflected no light. To any passing scanner, it looked dead, as if no life existed inside. But deep within its walls, thousands of humans worked day and night, moving with quiet determination. Commander Orin stood at the center of the main control room. His face showed signs of long battles, long nights, and impossible pressure. But his eyes burned with something the galaxy feared: human will. The room around him buzzed with machines, glowing screens, alarms, and the soft hum of a giant engine hidden somewhere below. A young technician ran to Orin, holding a tablet. "Sir, the energy level is rising again. If it keeps growing like this, the entire base could collapse." Orin did not look worried. He simply said, "It means we are close." No one else understood his calm. For months they had worked on a project so dangerous that even humans questioned it. A project so secret that not a single message had been sent outside. A project so important that failure meant extinction. In the deepest part of the base, a huge chamber glowed with blue light. Electric arcs jumped across the floor, shaking the metal walls. Workers wore heavy suits as they adjusted machines taller than buildings. Every second, the energy core pulsed like a living heart. It was wild, unstable, and beautiful. Some believed it was too powerful. Some believed it would explode. But Orin believed it was the only hope humanity had left. He walked to a window overlooking the chamber. The energy inside twisted and moved like a creature trying to escape. Most people were afraid to even look at it. But Orin felt something else. He felt pride. The galaxy never believed humans could reach this level of power. Yet here they were, walking on the edge of the impossible. A scientist approached him quietly. "Commander, if something goes wrong, we will have no time to evacuate." Orin placed a hand on the glass and whispered, "If we fear failure, we will never see victory." He turned to his team and raised his voice. "For years, the galaxy has underestimated us. They think we are emotional, weak, and easily broken. They think we can never achieve something bigger than ourselves." People around him stopped working and listened. "And yet," Orin continued, "we are here, creating something no one else dared to imagine. Not because we want power, but because we must survive. We do this not for glory, but because humanity refuses to vanish in silence." The workers felt a spark of hope in his words. Fear did not disappear, but courage grew stronger. Suddenly, alarms rang through the chamber. A loud voice shouted from the speakers. "Unidentified object approaching the base." Everyone froze. No one was supposed to find them. Not yet. Orin rushed to the main screen. A blurry image appeared, an alien probe. It was small, fast, and scanning their energy field. If it sent data back to the galaxy, the project would be exposed, and the alien empires would attack immediately. The room filled with panic. "What do we do?" someone asked. "We can't fire our weapons," another said. "It will reveal our location." But Orin did not panic. He pressed a button on the screen and whispered, "Let the energy field handle it." The probe crossed the border of the energy field. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the entire screen flashed white. The probe vanished. Not destroyed. Not damaged. Simply erased from existence. The room fell completely silent. No one spoke or even breathed. What did the field do?" a scientist whispered in fear. Orin stared at the glowing core. "It protected itself," he said. "The energy is learning." That sentence shook everyone more than the disappearing probe. Energy was not supposed to learn. Energy was not supposed to respond on its own. The project was changing, growing, becoming something no human had fully understood yet. Orin felt a mix of fear and excitement. This power had the potential to destroy humanity, but it also had the potential to save them in a way no one expected. More alarms beeped. Not danger alarms, progress alarms. The core was stabilizing itself. It had never done that before. Orin's voice was low but filled with awe. It is reaching the next stage. The workers exchanged nervous glances. Commander, what happens at the next stage? Orin looked at them. His answer was simple. We change the universe. Outside the base, the stars continued to burn quietly. But something new was forming within the human facility. A power strong enough to break the laws of space. A power no alien race believed humans could ever control. But humans were not backing away. They were stepping forward. Into the unknown. Into danger. Into greatness. And soon, the galaxy would see the truth. Humanity was building something impossible. And it was almost ready. Across the galaxy, strange reports began spreading like a cold wind. Alien scanners from different star systems picked up the same impossible reading. The human energy field around their secret base was no longer just a barrier. It was expanding, changing, and behaving like a living thing. Ships sent to investigate vanished. Not destroyed. Not damaged. Simply removed from reality. It made powerful empires nervous. It made ancient species whisper old warnings. And it made everyone ask the same question. What are the humans doing? On a massive alien warship orbiting a distant red star, General Krath slammed his metal fist against the table as he stared at the readings. This is not human technology, he growled. This is something else, something they should not have. His officers looked scared. Should we attack their base? One asked. Krath glared at him. Attack what? We cannot even understand it. He pointed to the holoscreen. The moment anything enters their energy field, it disappears. Silence filled the command room. Fear crawled in like a shadow. General Krath hated humans. But even he felt a strange chill tonight. On another side of the galaxy, in a peaceful alien academy, young scientists gathered around a giant floating diagram of the human signal. One of them whispered, "The frequency is changing every second." Another replied, "No species has ever made energy behave like language." A third added, "If the humans are doing this on purpose, they have unlocked something impossible." Their teacher, an old wise alien with glowing yellow skin, stared long and deep at the shifting waves. "Humans are dangerous," he said quietly. "Not because of their strength, but because they do the things others fear to try." The room went silent. Each student felt the same cold truth. The galaxy had seen humans fight before, and humans always fought hardest when they had nothing left to lose. Meanwhile, back in the Galactic Council, panic was rising fast. Leaders argued loudly, their calm voices replaced with fear and anger. What if the humans create a weapon powerful enough to wipe out systems? What if they bend space itself? What if they open something none of us can close? High Lord Vesk slammed his hand on the table. They cannot control such power. They will destroy themselves before they destroy us. But Keeler was not convinced. He stared at the hologram showing human energy spikes across the stars. "The readings are too stable," he said. "Humans are not failing. They are improving." Everyone froze. No one wanted to hear that. No one wanted to believe that. A council member whispered, "If humans succeed, our empires will lose all power." Another said, "If they break the laws of physics, we cannot predict anything anymore." Fear spread through the room like fire. They wanted control. But humanity was slipping out of their control completely. Back at the secret human base, the atmosphere was changing too. Workers were breathing faster, working faster, thinking faster. The energy core inside the chamber pulsed brighter than ever before. Sometimes blue, sometimes white, sometimes a color no human had ever seen. Commander Orin walked through the halls. Every footstep carried the weight of decisions that could change the galaxy. He looked tired, but his eyes still held fire. A fire the universe feared. A scientist rushed to him. "Commander, the core is now communicating with our systems." Orin paused. "Communicating?" "Yes, it reacts when we speak to it. It reacts when we touch the controls. It reacts when we think near it." Orin stared through the window at the glowing chamber. Humans had created something powerful, but they had also awakened something new. The scientist continued, "We do not know if it understands us, or if it wants something." Before Orin could answer, the base shook violently. Lights flickered, alarms blared, and the floor rumbled like thunder. Everyone ran to their stations. "The core is rising again," someone shouted. "It is reaching critical stage." Orin rushed to the control deck. "Report. The energy output is beyond our prediction. It's rewriting our calculations. It's forming patterns in the air. Commander, look." Everyone turned toward the chamber. Inside, bright symbols flashed in the glowing energy. Not alien symbols. Not machine symbols. But something else. Something that almost looked like shapes from human mathematics. Orin whispered, "It's learning from us." The base trembled again. Panels fell from the ceiling, sparks flew, and workers grabbed the rails for balance. But through all the chaos, Orin did not move. He watched the energy as if watching the birth of a star. Slowly, the tremor stopped. The lights steadied. The alarms went silent. A voice from the speaker said, "Commander, the core has stabilized, by itself." No one spoke for a long moment. It was impossible. It was unbelievable. But it was real. The energy humans created was no longer wild. It had chosen stability. Orin breathed out slowly. The next phase begins now. Far away, in alien ships and alien cities, beings stared at the scanners in horror. Human readings were rising again. Higher, stronger, sharper, different. Something was coming. Something powerful. Something the universe was not ready for. And for the first time in many years, the galaxy feared humanity not because of war, not because of weapons, but because humans were finally doing the thing everyone believed they never could. They were succeeding. The galaxy was no longer calm. Every empire, every council, every research station stayed awake through the long cosmic night. Human readings were rising in sharp pulses, forming patterns only the bravest scientists dared to study. Some called it a warning. Some called it a message. But no one knew the truth. Inside the secret human base, something strange was happening. The walls seemed to vibrate with a soft hum. Lights flickered not out of weakness but as if reacting to the rhythm of the energy core. Workers whispered to each other in fear. "It feels alive. Is it controlling the base? Or is it trying to talk to us?" Commander Orin stood in front of the chamber again. The blue-white energy inside moved with slow purpose, like a giant thinking creature. For the first time, the light did not look wild. It looked organized, focused, almost intelligent. A young engineer approached him nervously. "Commander, the symbols inside the core, they match ancient human physics theories." Orin frowned. "Are you sure?" "Yes, sir. These equations were never solved by humans. But the core is solving them in seconds." Orin stared at the glowing shapes forming in the air. Thoughts raced through his mind like lightning. "What are you trying to show us?" he whispered toward the chamber. No one expected an answer. But the core pulsed softly, as if it heard him. Suddenly the base alarms blared again. This time not from danger. From detection. A hologram of the surrounding space lit up in red. Alien fleets were gathering. Not one, not two. Dozens. Ships from different species forming a silent circle around human space. They weren't attacking yet. They were watching. Waiting. Preparing for whatever humanity was about to unleash. A soldier ran to Orin. "Commander, alien armies are preparing weapons." Another voice added, "They fear we created a superweapon." Orin closed his eyes for a moment. Humans had expected this. No species would allow such unknown power to grow without resistance. But what the aliens believed was only half the truth. The energy core was not a weapon. It was something more dangerous than any weapon. It was a doorway. A key. A step into a place no species had ever reached. Before Orin could speak, the base shook lightly. The chamber glowed brighter. A new symbol formed, large, clear, sharp. It looked like a circle folding into itself. A loop of light. A path. One scientist gasped. "I know this shape. It's the theoretical design for a dimensional bridge." Everyone froze. Humanity had never been able to build one. No species had. It was considered impossible. Until now. The energy inside the chamber pulsed again. Then the core suddenly sent a burst of light through the facility. Screens turned white. Holograms glitched. Every machine shut down for exactly 5 seconds. When the systems rebooted, the entire base gasped. The core was no longer just glowing. It was shifting, changing shape. Its energy folding and unfolding like wings made of starlight. One engineer whispered, "It's evolving." Orin took a slow step forward. "This is the next stage," he said quietly. "It's showing us what it wants to become." His words shook the room. Not because they were loud, but because they were true. Outside, alien fleets in the distance began charging weapons. Panic spread through their ships. Reports flew back to their councils. "Human energy is changing again. We must stop them before it is too late." Inside the human base, time moved differently. The core hummed with rising power. Electric arcs spread across the chamber walls, forming lines like a map. A map of somewhere no one recognized. Not space. Not planets. But something bigger. Something outside normal reality. A voice trembled from behind Orin. "Commander, what if this thing is not just energy?" Orin turned. "What do you mean?" The scientist swallowed hard. "What if it's a doorway, and something on the other side is responding?" Silence fell like heavy dust. Everyone stared at the chamber with wide eyes. If that was true, then humanity had not just built a machine. They had made first contact with something beyond the universe. Before anyone could react, a sudden shockwave blasted through space. Alien fleets were thrown back. Their ships rattling from the invisible force. Lights dimmed across alien bridges. Some crew fell to the floor. What was that? Did the humans attack us? No, the pulse came from inside their base. The galaxy held its breath as the core quieted again. The energy folded inward, then expanded with slow, majestic power, creating a perfect sphere of shining light. A sphere that did not belong in this universe. Orin whispered, "It's ready." The workers stepped back in awe. Nobody knew what would happen next. Nobody knew if humanity would survive the next moment. But Orin did not step away. He stepped closer, his eyes reflecting the bright sphere. His voice steady. "For the first time in history, the impossible is in our hands." Across the stars, alien rulers trembled. Humanity was doing something greater than a weapon. Greater than war. Greater than any invention in known existence. Humans were opening the first path beyond the universe. And the galaxy could not stop them. The sphere of light inside the chamber grew brighter. So bright that some workers shielded their eyes. But Commander Orin did not move away. He stood in front of it, feeling the heat, the pressure, and the strange calm that came with it. Outside the human base, thousands of alien ships hovered in the dark. Weapons ready, engines burning, crews waiting for orders. Every species, every empire, every council had gathered. They had come to stop humanity, or witness their end. Inside the main alien command ship, High Lord Vesk stared at the glowing readings. "This is too far," he said. Humans cannot be allowed to break the laws of creation. But deep inside, even he felt something else. Fear. Not fear of destruction, but fear of being wrong. Keeler, who had warned the council again and again, whispered, "Do you feel it? The humans are not building a weapon." Vesk glared. "Then what are they building?" Keeler breathed slowly. "A future." Back in the chamber, the sphere suddenly pulsed. One giant heartbeat made of light and energy. The metal floors shook. The machines flickered. And then the sphere opened. Not exploding. Not cracking. But unfolding like a flower made of pure starlight. Everyone stepped back. No human had ever seen anything like it. It was no longer a sphere. It was a doorway. A window into a place that did not look like space. Not black. Not empty. But filled with colors that moved like liquid and stars that formed strange shapes. A scientist whispered, "This is not another galaxy." Orin nodded. "It's another dimension." The doorway hummed softly, like it was inviting humanity to step forward, like it was waiting for them. A message suddenly flashed on every screen in the base. Not typed, not sent, but generated by the core itself. "Ready." The workers stared at Commander Orin, some afraid, some amazed, but all of them were waiting for his command. Orin stepped closer to the portal, his voice low but steady. "We have one chance. Not to fight. Not to conquer. But to prove that humanity is more than the galaxy believes." He turned toward the crew. "For centuries, they called us weak. Emotional. Chaotic. And they were right. But they forgot the part that matters most." Orin placed his hand on the panel. "We are also the ones who do the impossible." With a final command, he activated the launch platform. Metal floors separated. Mechanisms rose from below. And a massive human ship, sleek, silver, alive with the energy of the core, rose into the chamber. The crew watched in silence. The ship glowed like it was built from pieces of the portal itself. Engineers whispered, "This design, it's not fully human. It learned from the energy. It adapted." Orin smiled. "Then it will carry the best of what we are." The ship powered up. Its engines did not roar. They sang. A soft, harmonic sound like the first heartbeat of a newborn universe. Outside, alien fleets panicked. Human ship activating. "They are going to attack. Prepare all defenses." But no weapons charged on the human ship. No missiles. No lasers. Nothing. Instead, the ship slowly rose toward the portal. Aliens everywhere stared in silence. For the first time, they were not seeing humans as warriors, but as explorers. The ship reached the glowing doorway. Orin's final message broadcast across all channels. His voice calm, powerful, unforgettable. "You said humanity could never do it. You said we would fail. You said we would never rise beyond our limits." He paused. "But look at us now." Every alien, from soldiers to rulers to scholars, felt a chill. Humans were stepping into a dimension no species had ever touched. Not to escape. Not to hide. But to evolve. The ship moved forward. The portal expanded. And then, in one smooth motion, the ship crossed the barrier and vanished into the bright unknown. The portal pulsed once more, then slowly closed, leaving only silence behind. Alien fleets sat frozen. No one spoke. No one fired. No one moved. In the Galactic Council, Vesk sank back into his chair. Defeated. Confused. And strangely respectful. "They did it," he whispered. "They actually did it." Keeler closed his eyes. Humanity has changed their destiny. And now the universe must change with them. Across the stars, a message remained. Not written. Not spoken. But felt by every watching mind. Humanity had stepped into the impossible. And the galaxy finally understood the truth. Humans were no longer the species that almost succeeded. They were the species that did. And everything, everywhere, would never be the same again.